Those were the top stories. Let's take it straight to the top one this evening. And less than a week after the RBI cuts interest rates for the first time in the last 6 months, the finance minister hinted that there could be room for further rate cuts. In an exclusive interview with CNBC TV 18's Malvika Jain in Washington, D.C., Jaitley said that the Reserve Bank will have greater flexibility once inflation eases even further. He also pointed out that good monsoon and a bumper harvest should drive inflation even lower in the country. And the finance minister is not alone in this, because the head of India's largest bank also echoed his very sentiment. In an exclusive interview, Arundhati Bhattacharya said that RBI will have the elbow room to ease rates further in future. So the RBI is doing its bit. What about the banks? Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikant Das expects banks to transmit the entire 25 basis points rate cut by the Reserve Bank of India soon. And like I said before, we have a slew of exclusive interviews lined up today. Let's start with the finance minister on interest rate cuts.
I won't comment on this. This is a decision which the Monetary Policy Committee and the RBI governor takes. You see, this was one of the long-awaited reforms. And the long-awaited reform was that you must have an MPC. World over, there are MPCs now. But the Indian MPC is still loaded, and rightly so, in favor of the RBI bank, because the governor has the casting vote itself. Now, I understand, will do the exercise, and the kind of people we have chosen as government nominees are not insiders in the government. Since we were creating a new institution, one of our objectives was to have people who have an arm's length distance from the government. In fact, the 3 academics who've been chosen, I still haven't met them in this context. And therefore, they operate independently, they apply their mind independently. The RBI, therefore, through the MPC, gets a lot of inputs. They will discuss data, and the relevant question is, they look at inflation from every point of view.
Right.
Now, from an inflation figure 2.5 years ago of almost 9 to 10%, you had come down, and then you moved up to 6% because of food prices. Now, possibly they have seen that with a good monsoon and a bumper harvest in pulses, the vegetable and the pulse prices are going to go down. And once that happens, if the inflation goes down, obviously the RBI has greater flexibility in taking a decision, and that's what they've done at the moment.
Today the environment is probably far more conducive for reducing the policy rates, and the Reserve Bank has reduced by 25%. But having said that, let me also mention that reduction by the Reserve Bank of India has to be followed up by transmission of this reduction, transmission of these rates to the, by the banks to the eventual customers.
Of the 175 basis point cut that the Reserve Bank has done, we as a bank have passed on 95 basis points. More will get passed on in the near term rather than in the longer term. Our own in-house research indicates that the inflation numbers will keep coming down.
Right.
And if they keep coming down, surely there will be space for further rate cuts. We are aware, and RBI has said as much time and again, that they are data-driven. And if that be the case, I think the data will support further cuts.